Hello guys, it is me again, it's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another video. I know I'm in the midst of doing my 31 Days of Horror in October marathon of reviews, but wanted to do a little bit of a side video during this marathon because I know a few people have asked me for my opinion on what I thought of the new Halloween. So I figured I would give you guys my thoughts of what I thought of the movie. Now, this was a film that I was really looking forward to seeing for a while. I'm a huge fan of the Halloween franchise. Really enjoyed the original Part 2. Part 3 is underrated. Really enjoyed Part 4. H2O I really do enjoy. All the other ones, not too much. But getting on to the new Halloween film, I know this film has done quite well at the box office. It's got a lot of good critical notices as well. And basically the film takes place 40 years after the events of the original film, so it ignores all of the other films. So basically, in order for you to get this one, you only need to see the original film to see this one, because it disregards the other sequels. So basically, the film takes place 40 years after the events of the original film, where Michael Myers comes back to the town, and now Laurie Strode, 40 years later, is going to try to, get Michael Myers, and the whole confrontation of what goes down and things like that. So that's pretty much what the entire film is about. Now, going into this film, I was really excited. I was really anticipating this. So I came out of the theater, and I'll give you guys my reaction, or thoughts, I guess you would say, on the film itself. And I have to say, I really enjoyed this. I really did enjoy this film. Had a good time with this movie. I think it was really worth it. It was worth the time. It was really worth the experience. It was a really great theater experience. This new Halloween film really delivered big time. There are a couple flaws. I'll just get onto the flaws. I'll get those out of the way really quickly. Some characters were kind of forgettable and things like that. Some of the characters were kind of just there. I'll give you that. And one other thing too is that there are some characters in this film that do make stupid choices. I will say that. It's one of those things where you kind of sit in there, kind of scream at the screen, no, don't do that. There are some characters that make dumb decisions, and there are some characters too that are forgettable. They're kind of just there. But they're really the only two gripes I have with the film, because everything else, I really dug this movie. I really did enjoy this. First off, getting to the cast. I really like the fact that they got Judy Greer in the film. I thought she does a great job. And then you have Jamie Lee Curtis reprising her role once again as Laurie Strode. Jamie Lee Curtis in this film is great. She is fantastic as Laurie Strode. 40 years later, just the definition of a great female hero. Even 40 years later, she still has it. She's training for Michael Myers when he comes back, in case he comes back, and she's training and she's getting ready for the whole confrontation and things like that. So that's what I'm saying. Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode delivers big time, and I really do think that this film was very well directed by I'm forgetting the director's name at the moment, but I know him and Danny McBride have collaborated on a couple films, and Danny McBride was involved with this film too. So you can definitely see how there are some bits of humor in the film, and I think that the humor that they incorporated into this film was actually pretty good, especially when this one little kid who had me rolling on the floor laughing. 'Cause some of his dialogue was just spot on. It was just so spot on. I was dying of laughter. So there were some good bits of humor that is put into this film. But also it's a film too that takes itself very seriously, and it's a very brutal film too. Michael Myers does not mess around in this film. Michael Myers breaks a little kid's neck. So Michael Myers don't mess around in this. Michael Myers is brutal in this, and it's a very brutal film. It's probably on par, probably one of the more brutal of the Halloween films I've seen in quite a while. I mean, you can say like the Rob Zombie ones are brutal, but the thing is with the Rob Zombie ones, you know, I'm not too much of a fan of the Rob Zombie ones because I don't like what they did with the story. Like, I don't like the fact in the Rob Zombie remake and the sequel, I didn't like the fact that they were, I guess I would say pretty much in the remake of the first remake, they made Michael Myers' family like white trash and they're cursing every 2 seconds. Like, I just didn't care for that. You know, I'm not saying, you know, that's the actor's fault. I mean, like, that's what they were directed to do. And on top of that, too, I mean, like, the Rob Zombie Halloween had a really good ensemble cast of horror actors with the likes of Bill Moseley, Malcolm McDowell, Sid Haig, Brad Dourif, William Forsythe. I mean, it has a cool cast, but I just don't like what they did with the character of Michael Myers. I kind of feel like they kind of turned Michael Myers into like white trash, and I didn't like what they went with that in that direction. With this one, though, they went back to the roots of the original film, which I really thought was really well done. Granted, Michael Myers is brutal. He is much more brutal. But the thing is, though, they do Michael Myers the right way. I mean, they don't make him cry, they don't make him talk, and things like that. Because I think that's one of the things I hated about Halloween 5 was Michael Myers crying. And that's one of the things, too, I appreciate about this film. They got the character of Michael Myers right. They got him down to a T. He's brutal, he doesn't mess around. And, you know, there were just some really good moments with Michael Myers. And, you know, you have Nick Castle reprising his role as Michael Myers, as well as another guy playing Michael Myers. And, you know, just as good as ever. I really like the look of the mask as well. I thought the mask was pretty cool, really well done. And, you know, it's just a really good blood. It's really intense as well. It's directed very well. And the musical score is great as well. You know, just hearing that theme music again just made me think I was sitting in the theater watching the original film. I mean, like, that's how much of a good time I had with this movie was. I felt like I was watching, almost kind of like watching the original film in theaters with the music going, because the hearing that theme song again gave me goosebumps in the theater, because it was kind of like me witnessing for the first time a Halloween movie true to the original in theaters, or closest to the original in theaters, and it was a wonderful experience. The audience was great, things like that. So I'm not gonna say much more about this movie because I don't want to spoil too much about this film, but I will say if you were looking forward to this film and you're a big fan of the Halloween franchise or the Michael Myers character, this was worth it. It's directed very well. I love the little bits of humor they added, which I thought was really, really funny. Especially the one little kid was just spot on with his dialogue. Had me in tears laughing. Jamie Lee Curtis is great. I like Judy Greer. And it was really cool, too, seeing Will Patton, who plays the sheriff. Will Patton, of course, from the Thomas Jane Punisher. I'm like, oh, wow, that's Will Patton. I know him. And Will Patton, when you look him up, he's been in a lot of other films, too. But it was really cool to see Will Patton. Really great to see Nick Castle come back as Michael Myers. I love the look of the mask. Great musical score. It's a very brutal film. You know, the finale is great. And, you know, overall, I mean, I don't want to say much more about this film. This film was totally worth it. And it'll definitely be on my top favorites of the year. Not only, like, some of my favorite horror films of the year, but also my top favorite movies of the year so far. But I'll save that when I do that list, and towards the end of the year, I'll tally up the list and see where that falls into my list of my favorites. So, anyways, that is pretty much it for my review for the new Halloween. And thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright, guys, take care.